So this video is going to help introduce you to the way that we are going to use Cornell notes in anatomy and physiology this year. For every unit we study this year, you'll be watching anywhere from 1 to 4 sets of video lectures. As you watch each video, you are going to be using the Cornell style system of note-taking. Chances are you've used this system in other classes, but this is going to help prepare you for how I would like you to use them in anatomy. So you are going to have a sheet of Cornell paper that you're either writing on or typing on. Either one is fine. And if it is not already divided, then you are going to divide it down the left-hand side of the page so that you have 2 different columns, one for questions and one for notes. We use this method for a variety of reasons, but the biggest one is because it helps keep you organized, and organized notes are more useful to you for studying. For every unit or every set of notes, you should start by putting your name, putting the date, putting the topic. So your topic for this set of notes might be Cornell lecture video notes. And then if you use more than 1 page of notes, you should number them by the end of the lecture. You want to make sure that your notes are complete so that you have that information for later, but you also want to make sure that they are written or typed clearly so that they're useful to you again. When you get to the end of one big idea, for example, at the end of each slide, it's wise to leave at least a line, but maybe 2 or 3 lines of space before you start the next set of information. That way, if we discuss that information in class and you get an example that's useful or some more information that helps with the concept, then you have space to put it in with the other material that is in that same topic. Some students like to simply turn on the videos and then either mute my voice or turn the volume way down and completely skip what I'm saying. What you hopefully have noticed so far, even though it's only been about 2 minutes of lecture, is that the things that are on the text of the slide are different from the things that I say. They go together, but they are not word for word. And so oftentimes the things that I say are as important, if not more important, than what is typed on the slide itself. You've heard this before in other classes, so just a quick reminder. Definitely don't write down every single word that is typed on these slides, and don't write down every single thing that I say. Listen for what seems most important. Look for underlining or capitals or bulleted points or bold, and make sure to concentrate on those details. Keep your notes as brief as is possible without leaving out major information. That will save you time and make it less frustrating overall. If you have an abbreviation system that you like to use, or if you like to write your notes in text speak, then do it. Just make sure you're consistent so that the information is accessible to you again later. Every single time that you watch a Cornell notes lecture or any kind of topic in anatomy, you will be expected to come to class with questions about that material. The questions can be something that you need clarification on, maybe what I explained didn't make sense, or it can be a curiosity or something to help extend your learning on the topic that we are currently studying. You should write these questions in the questions column of your notes. And then when you come to class, we will talk about them. Because we do not have a text in anatomy, your notes become your text for all of the labs that we will do in class, all of the studying, all of the tests that you will take. That material is going to come from the content of your notes. Students who spend a little bit of extra time on their notes and then use them to study are always the students who do better on the tests. Learning is not just about tests. I would never say that. But if it is important to you to do well on tests, then it should be important to you to do well in your notes. Those 2 things go hand in hand. When your notes are finished and you are using them down the line, maybe to study for a test, you can fold your notes along the left-hand column here and just look at this side of the content. That's where you've written your questions. That's where you've written headings, like using notes to study, for example. That's where you write key terms, new vocabulary, topics. that are different from what was previously in the notes. If you fold the paper over, then you can use those terms or questions to help kind of spur your learning, and you can quiz yourself on what content goes with that material. What is the definition of that new term? What was the answer to that question? And then you can continue to kind of refine and improve your memory of the material as you go. The last component of Cornell Notes is the summary portion. At the end of every lecture, for the most part, I will give you anywhere from 3 to 5 summary questions. Those are the questions that I believe you should be able to answer after listening to the lecture and taking notes. So you are going to write those questions down in the summary portion of your notes, but you're not going to answer them. When you come to class the next day or a couple of days later, you are going to discuss those questions at your table, and as a table group, you will then come up with the appropriate answers based on your notes, and you will write a summary. That will help reinforce the material by spreading it out over a couple days, and it will help with adding to your learning by discussing it with other people and getting other perspectives. Finally, Cornell Notes are only as useful as the person who is using them. If you take great notes and then you shove them in a binder or shove them in a book and then leave them in your car or leave them in your locker and never look at them again, they're not going to do you any good. The only way to learn material and to learn it long term is to practice it. One way to practice it is to review. If you can spend anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes a day reviewing your notes, believe me, by the time you get to a test or a big lab or some kind of other kind of major assessment, if you have been reviewing as you went along, chances are you are going to have to do much less studying the night or nights before, and you will have a much better grip on that information. That just makes your life easier. So I will always encourage you to do that. At this point, there are not going to be summary questions for this set of notes, but you are going to come to class next time and discuss at your table what you learned from this set of notes, and we'll talk about any questions that you might have. See you soon.